for president. We currently do not have any certified candidates for membership vice president. The district director candidate will receive 3 minutes to speak, and following their speech, there will be an opportunity for the candidate to answer a few questions. Programming vice president candidate will have 6 minutes to speak, and following their speech, there will be a question and answer time, including questions from the membership. Finally, we will hear from the presidential candidates, who will receive 10 minutes to speak, and following the speech, there will be an opportunity for the candidates to answer questions from the membership. If you are on Zoom and would like to ask a question, please use the raise your hand feature to be called on. For those of you here in person, you can use your actual hand and raise it. We will alternate between on-site and Zoom questions. Our first candidate today to present their campaign bid will be the candidate for district director. I'd like to invite Kaylee Gratz to the stage.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Gratz from the Allegan JCs. I joined the JCs in 2017 and have since served as director, vice president, and I'm currently serving my second year as president of the Allegan JCs. I joined JCI South Kent in 2018 as a dual member as well. I'm running for district director to both further my JC career as well as continue on the legacy of our past district directors in maintaining that our chapters had all the resources they needed and all the support that they could get, that they could give us. And as well as I've noticed a gap within D2, because D2 stretches from Muskegon down to Allegan, and there are only 4 chapters. When we were Region C, and my mom was region director, we had 16 chapters in that area. So a kind of idea that I have for my year as district director would be to implement some different projects and stuff within some of those other areas within District 2. So one idea I had was to do a joint, like have the existing chapters do joint membership drives in some of those untapped areas. So for example, have Muskegon and Grand Rapids partner and do some membership drives in Coopersville or Rockford or areas that used to have chapters that no longer do. And then have South Kent and Allegan partner and do membership drives in areas like Dorr or Holland, etc. And then also have our D2 socials and stuff in some of those areas where there aren't already chapters. So then it not only gets us into those areas that there aren't chapters anymore, but also gets our members to see different parts within our district. So that is all.
Thank you, Kaylee. Do we have any questions from the room for Kaylee? Okay. Do we have any questions on Zoom, Steph? Nope. Okay. Luckily, I have questions prepared for you. Directors are empowered to host district events throughout the year. How will you use this opportunity to motivate and recognize the great efforts that our JCs have in our communities?
So I kind of went over that with having the planning to have different events within other areas, but then also just hosting like district competitions and recognitions at a district level, like how a lot of chapters do like a year-end banquet. Maybe we could do a district end banquet type project with just the 4.
All right. And your second question is, in your JC career, and in your case, both as an official JC and as a JKid, JTeen, what has been your most favorite project and why?
The run fair for that Allegan ran was my all-time favorite project. So that was a project my dad started in like 2003. And from that until 2018, I only missed 1 year of run fair. And that's because I lived in France. The commute was a little bit long. But that was my all-time favorite project. And we are planning, the run fair had closed, but is in the works of reopening. And then we started doing our smaller run fair This year, we had the one in June, and we have another one coming up in October that Allegan will be working at.
Great. Thank you very much, Kaylee.
Yep.
Let's give her a round of applause. Sorry. For the purposes of introducing our next candidate, which is the candidate for Programming Vice President, please welcome to the stage, Nikki Dobus.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the participation. It is a joy to be here today to introduce you to my friend, Kimmy Black. In 2020, the year that changed our lives, Kimmy and I were both serving as chapter presidents in our local organizations. And honestly, Kimmy was the one chapter president that I had that I knew I could always go to, who would offer support and friendship, and we could commiserate together and try not to be bitter about the things we were missing out on. In 2021, we had the opportunity to serve together as programming directors together. And honestly, I'm blown away by Kimmy on the daily. The things that she did within her chapter blew me away. The things that she has done to help our programming and to make all of the things that seem really hard feel easy and accessible is incredible. Her attention to detail is unparalleled. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that Kimmy Black has made me a better JC. So I am honored to introduce her, and I can't wait to see the amazing things she does as Programming Vice President.
Good afternoon, JCI Michigan, and thank you, Nikki, for that introduction. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kimmy Black, and I've been a member of this organization since 2013. Over the course of my time, I have served on our local board for 6 years and have had the opportunity to work with various styles of leadership. I think that has truly benefited me in becoming the leader I am today. I have learned that flexibility and accountability are key in running a successful team. I am also an observer and tend to listen and take everything in so I can make the most informed decisions and about things both personally and professionally. After talking with different people about my plans for 2022, I know that I possess the skills and qualities that it takes to be Programming Vice President for JCI Michigan. For those of you who don't know, during my free time, I enjoy playing board games and video games. Oftentimes, as you accomplish different tasks, you are able to level up and continue to build your skills. I think that this can also be applied to programming. We are at a unique point where we have an opportunity to start fresh and programming into the 21st century. We can take all that we learned during the pandemic to level up in 2022 and continue to build new skills. We need to start with planning, and my goal would be to create a more user-friendly process to help chapters set up a plan for the year. As a local president in 2020, having that set plan for the year really helped our board to really think on their feet and make changes as quickly as possible. This is where we could also foster partnerships between chapters who are looking to implement new ideas. We may be able to partner them together with another local chapter that has had successes in some things that they want to implement when planning. We need to focus on making our programming inclusive and accessible for all potential members. We may need to look at things and see where the misses are and how our organization can fill those holes. We need to create a welcoming atmosphere for everyone. We should encourage virtual options for those who may not be able to come in person. My local chapter has had a lot of success with this to re-engage members, but then also to allow potential members to check out our organization in a more non-threatening way. During my time as a programming director this year, we have seen the interest in competitions hasn't really been there. I think we need to start at a local level by providing opportunities to participate and possibly move to a district level, which will then encourage more participation at our state level. I would like to continue with the virtual option for participation, but perhaps as we're looking at moving into more in-person events, we need to look at how we can make participation more exciting. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to serve you as 2022 Programming Vice President and hope that we are able to level up together in 2022.
Thank you very much, Kimmy. We'll now take a few questions from the audience for you. Please keep your answers to roughly 1.5 minutes. Do we have any questions in the Zoom? Do we have any questions in the room? Yes, Jennifer.
So one of the games that we often play at my house is called Munchkin. In that it is kind of a cooperative game, but allows there to be a little bit of competition in between. Ultimately, there's one winner in the end. But it's nice to be able to work together, brainstorm, come up with new ideas. In that game, you're leveling up to try and beat monsters, so you can get to the end of the dungeon. I think, in a way, when you look at programming with some of those pieces, working together with other people allows you to move up and gain skills so you can beat those monsters that might be in the way as we pave that programming way.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions in the Zoom? Okay. Are there any questions in the room? Okay, I'll come over to you, Karina.
Being part of the programming team this year, what have you learned that you think will allow you to carry into 2022, and what things do you want to change?
So something that I think, I know personally, I hope that I can do more in that programming role is connecting with the presidents and members of the organizations. I do know that in my role, I've kind of stood back and judged things and done different things, but I really need to work on building those partnerships with those chapter presidents so that way they can feel successful on their accomplishments. I think we've worked well as a team and been able to bounce ideas off of each other and not be afraid if that idea might not work out. And it's been a nice working with the team that we've had. And I hope that we can continue with the competition topics we've added to really make it a more dynamic time for our members to participate in.
Okay. We have a question from the Zoom. How will you encourage participation in the submission and recognition process?
I think that goes back to really partnering with the chapters and helping them feel supported in the process and not just relying on them to know where to go and what to do, but being able to say, I've seen this project that you've done a really great job. Let me show you how we can submit for that and get you recognized, because I think there's so many great things out there.
Okay, and we have another Zoom question. What are your thoughts on engaging members in the Passport to Civic Leadership program?
So when I first joined this organization, my first meeting I went to was about the Civic Leadership Certification. And it was funny because I had a friend who was trying to get me to join and would talk about this thing that they went to, this event that they planned. Conference was so fun, but as somebody who didn't know much about the organization, I didn't really know what any of that meant. So being able to come to that meeting and really see some of those things to help benefit me as a leader, I think it's important that we educate our members on that and not just relying on them knowing it's there. There's a lot of members that do great things, but they're not aware of how to submit for it. Where do you go? All of those things. So I think it's just holding their hands and walking them through that process so that way they're able to grow as a leader in this organization.
Are there any other questions in the room? Okay, well, thank you very much, Kimmy. Okay, next we'll hear from our candidates for president. For the purposes of introducing our first candidate for president, please welcome to the stage with me, Liz Monetza.
Hello, I'm Liz Manetza, and I am actually going to read John Hagan's introduction on his behalf because he is unable to attend today. So, hello, my name is John Hagan. I am a member of JCI Kalamazoo. Sorry I'm not able to be there with you today. I've been asked to introduce this first candidate for JCI Michigan president. This candidate and I go way back to 2010 when we were both brand new members of JCI. A fact that her and I share is that she is exactly a month older than me, and she likes to remind me of that fact every year. However, I've been a member of JCI for about a month longer than she has, so I do have that. She is a very dedicated member, and she has traveled the world for JCI, making connections with people from in all corners. She's always looking for every opportunity she can to be as knowledgeable as possible about JCI. In my opinion, she is a walking JCI encyclopedia. If I have a question about the organization, I go to her. We've been on many adventures together, a handful of boards together over the years. I was on her board as secretary during her time as the 83rd president of Kalamazoo JCs. And I also worked with her on the production team when she was COO. I know she has what it takes to be a great leader in this organization, and she knows that together we are unlimited. I would like to introduce the candidate for the 98th president of JCI Michigan, Anna Versailles.
Oh man, that Zoom mute button. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in the Meet the Candidates event today. Thank you to Liz for reading John's great introduction. John is hanging out with his BFF Vanilla Ice today, so he can't be with us. So I want you to take a moment and picture this. Two friends are standing together, facing a tough decision that will forever change their lives. One friend turns to the other and sings the following words: Unlimited. Together, we're unlimited. Together, we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Glinda. Dreams the way we planned them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity, they'll never bring us down. So some of you may be familiar with the musical Wicked, and it's really easy to picture this scene. In that moment, these two friends, Elphaba and Glinda, the world is theirs to conquer, together. And if you're not familiar with the story, well, Wicked tells the story of the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda the Good before the Wizard of Oz happened. As I spent time the last several weeks thinking about what I wanted to say today, I kept turning to the story of Wicked. As members of JCI, we are a lot like Elphaba and Glinda, because together, we're unlimited. Within our chapters, we are stronger because of our members, and within our state, we are stronger because of our chapters. As we look to 2022 and beyond, it's important to focus on engaging our current membership. We have several tools available to help us with that, and one of the most important is the Passport to Civic Leadership program. So if you haven't started on your passport yet, I challenge you to start today, and if you aren't sure how, well, get a hold of me after Meet the Candidates and I'll get you help with starting out. The next thing is that it's important for JCI Michigan to develop a strategic plan. We have a 1 year to lead philosophy, and that is fantastic, but having a roadmap to help us along the way is even better. JCI USA and JCI both develop a 5-year strategic plan. And if elected to be your next president, I would form a strategic plan committee so that we can identify the needs of JCI Michigan and formulate a strategic plan that we can adopt at our annual meeting in the fall. Developing a strong plan and activating and engaging our membership are two components to get us on track for growth. We all know it takes new members to keep our organization going strong. People join people, and we have to work together to provide the atmosphere that gets folks excited to be a Michigan JC. A key component to building that atmosphere is having a president who is available and able to spend time out in our chapters, meeting with members, participating in events. I am fortunate to have a family and employer who support my JC journey and enable me to be the person who is available to travel. Um, Over the last several years, I've had the opportunity to do quite a bit of travel, not just within JCI Michigan, but across JCI USA and even internationally. I believe that these opportunities have positioned me quite well to have an understanding of where JCI Michigan fits in the big picture and to be the leader that we need to make sure that our voice is heard at the national and international levels. We come to JCI as individuals, ready to learn, to grow, and to try new things. We find that we become a part of a team, that connection that we make, that we are the greatest team there's ever been. So, JCI Michigan, together we're unlimited. Will you take the leap with me?
Thank you very much, candidate Anna. Next, we'll hear from your next candidate for president. For the purpose of introduction of our candidate, please welcome to the Zoom stage for me. For the purpose of introducing our next candidate for president, please welcome to the Zoom stage with me, Joni Zielinski.
Hi, but before I get started here, okay. Before I get started here, I just want to make sure like people in the room can see my slides, right? Someone answer
You need
yes
to
or
share your screen, Joni.
I need to share my screen. Okay. I wasn't sure who was running the slides, if it was there or here.
I didn't get your presentation, so I didn't pass it on to the tech wizard. Sorry. We will not hold this time against the candidate.
Thank you.
That's because we treat people with kindness. So I just want to thank everybody while Joni's getting everything set up for coming to the Service Center today or connecting via Zoom. I think that we've gone and showed that we can keep moving things forward no matter where you are on your comfort level with people. So, all right, looks like we're good to go.
All right. Thank you for your patience. Okay. It was a quiet night in late June when Carol messaged me asking if I would help her with her campaign to be the 98th president of JCI Michigan. At first, I thought she had sent the message to the wrong person, but when she said she was looking for someone to help her make pie charts and other graphs, I knew she had messaged the right person. I think we all know Carol because she's usually the one making noise, but I've had the opportunity to get to know Carol more over the last 2 months, and I'm here to tell you, JCI Michigan, we would be lucky to have Carol leading us next year. Today, I have prepared for you a list of reasons why you should vote for Carol. Reason number 1, she is allergic to mold and ragweed. Will she be outside doing yard work? No. Will she be inside serving our members and figuring out how to help JCI Michigan thrive? Yes. Reason number 2, she loves potatoes. If you love potatoes too, you should vote for Carol. Like potatoes that serve multiple roles in our lives, Carol has served multiple roles since joining the JCs in 2014, including 3 voting positions on the state board, 2 of which of those roles being elected positions. Reason number 3, she makes dreams come true. In 2019, Carol asked me to judge a baking competition, and it was one of the best days of my life. If she can do that for me, she can do this for other members of JCI Michigan. Reason number 4, her enthusiasm. Carol has a lot of professional skills that will make her a great president, but it is hard to find someone with more enthusiasm for this organization. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm, and I believe Carol's enthusiasm is what we need most. Reason number 5, her children. Carol is a JC to set an example for her children and wants them to see that young people can, will, and do change the world. Her greatest hope is that someday she can watch them do the same. I think we all know that there's nothing more powerful than a mom on a mission. Reason number 6, Carol has won many awards since joining the JCs, but let's be honest, this is the one that matters the most. And the final reason you should vote for Carol, she loves glitter. I used glitter once in 1992, and my family has moved 3 times, and I still find glitter on things at my parents' house. What I'm trying to say here is glitter is forever. We all want JCI Michigan to be forever. Carol will put glitter on JCI Michigan so it can last forever. I can't wait for you all to hear what she's going to do to put glitter on all of us.
I really should have watched that beforehand. Thank you, Joni. That was everything I asked you for and very much more. I appreciate you. Thank you all for being here today on a Saturday. As Joni so creatively told you, I am Carol Z. Pickleman, and I would like to be the 98th president of JCI Michigan. Hello. Our organization is on the verge of extinction. We are dying. If we continue on the path that we are on right now, we will be celebrating our 100th year with less than 500 members. We will be celebrating 5 years after that with less than 200 members. Now, I know that I can sometimes be a little dramatic. So I did ask Joni to put a little math together for us. Noel, if you could show the math. I do want to clarify, Joni made the math. I didn't touch the math. This is our projected membership over the next 10 years. This graph assumes that we have a retention rate of 66%, which is the average of the past 10 years. This graph also assumes that we are able to break even every single year, which is not something we have been able to do in the past 10 years. We will have less than 200 members by 2029. This graph that I don't want to look at anymore, can you take that down? I hate that. Thank you. I appreciate you very much, Noel. You are a wizard. This graph does not take into account that 15 of our chapters have less than 20 members, and they are in danger of losing their charters. So why are we even here? It's Saturday. It's lovely outside. Why are we here? I will tell you why I am here. I believe that JCI Michigan is worth saving. I believe that we have a mission that is different than every other organization in the entire world. And that mission is what is going to save us. Every single organization is struggling right now, every single one, but they don't have our mission. Can anyone in this room tell me what our mission is? You, back there. All 3 of them, look at that. We provide development opportunities. Our training program is fantastic. It needs to be more accessible to people who are not members yet. I would like to see our resume trainings, our cover letter trainings. Please train people how to interview so that they can get better jobs. We can offer that for $5 a pop to any young person. There are 1.9 million young people in Michigan, and the median The median salary for them is $30,000. Let's help them get better jobs. We can do that because we provide development opportunities. Our members, they learn PMGs. They learn how to create an event out of nothing for anything they want to do. They learn the active citizen framework. They know the United Nations sustainable goals. We empower young people right there. We create positive change. We are very good at creating positive change. And the most beautiful thing about it is that each of our chapters are able to do that and cater it to their communities. Yes, we have chapters that do big beer things, and we have chapters that do small backpack things, and we have chapters that merely just come together because we just lived through a pandemic, and that is all positive change. We're amazing at that. It's time to come together as a state and be amazing at that in one big project that announces that this is our mission, this is why we're here, and this is why we need to stay. I understand that young people don't want to pay dues to an organization, but they'll pay $5 to take a training. They will come volunteer at an event and they'll say, wow, this is cool. What are we doing this for? And then we'll tell them why we're doing it and what we are impacting in our community while they're there. And they'll be like, that sounds cool. They drank the Kool-Aid and they didn't even know it. This is how we're going to save our organization. A little bit of rebranding, a little bit of external marketing. We're going to level up on all the things that we are doing that are great, and then we will shine. Because service to humanity inspires nonstop enthusiasm, and it's time that the 1.9 million young people in Michigan all knew about it. Vote for me for your 98th president, and I will summon every ancestor of the JCI gods, and we will do this together. Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you very much, Carol, and thank you, Anna. At this time, we would like to ask you a few questions regarding your pursuit and the next step of your legacy of leadership, your thoughts on JC mentorship, visions, and your potential year as president. We will start with questions from the past presidents. We will alternate. Each of you will answer each question, and we will start with Anna answering the first question first. So I'm just going to go across the back of the room. So I will start with past President Peter Behrman. I got to get to him with the microphone, don't I? Anna is first.
Thank you. Wasn't ready yet, but I guess I will be. Given the fact that you both do come from the same local chapter, and given that only one of you is going to be our 98th president, what are you going to do to make sure that your chapter that may be divided after this election comes back together and supports you and supports your team?
Thank you, past President Peter. That's a great question. So it is an interesting situation to be in a position where we're both from the same chapter running for the same position within JCI Michigan. And I think one of the most important things is that Carol and I have both been really positive within the chapter that this is not a situation to be divisive over. That the cool part is a leader from JCI Kalamazoo is going to be coming forward to lead JCI Michigan next year, and that we're going to be able to showcase and represent the leadership talent coming out of our chapter, and to be able to support one another. I know Carol and I are both friends, and at the end of the day, we plan to still be friends and to support each other no matter what the outcome is. So it's going to be important to continue to show within the chapter that this isn't about picking between us necessarily, as a divisive action.
Hello. Everything Anna says is right. That was correct. I will add on to that in any time that you have two people that want the same thing and they are in a position like this, any argument at all you could say, any debate, anything, if we think about the mission of the organization at the end of the day and what's right, we will make the right decisions. We all have to remember why we're here and go from there. And that will works for multiple other situations.
Thank you, candidates. And I introduced past President Peter incorrectly. 93rd President of JCI Michigan, Peter Behrman. All right, now we will move on to 87th past President David Worthams. It's been a long day.
Wow, nothing like getting the impromptu question. Didn't realize we were going to do this, but okay. We'll talk later. We'll talk later. And you know how that talk's going to go. Anyway, one of the things that has always bugged me in my lengthy tenure in this organization is dual membership or triple membership or quadruple membership. One of the candidates made a big deal about there being 600 members. I'm kind of curious if that's the actual number or not because of dual memberships, triple memberships, quadruple memberships. And I'm curious from our candidates, what is your take on dual memberships and how do you fix it?
You living your best life over there, Crawford? Hi, I'm Carol Pickleman, and I am a dual member of Kalamazoo and Frankenmuth. Thank you for your wonderful question, past President Dave. I go back and forth on dual membership. I used to very much believe that it was cheating and how, that's one person for two numbers. So in answer to the first part of your question, no, that graph that I showed did not include our dual members. It's not all that big of a percentage. What do you remember? 10, we have some dual members, okay? We do need to recruit young people that want to be in one chapter, okay? That's fine. On the other hand, I heard it best in one of our boards ago, and I am a dual member because I'm supporting my chapter at the local level. Those dues that go to the chapter to help them pay their insurance, I'm doing that in two different places. I am an active person in both chapters. So dual membership, when it is because you want to help a number, is very different than dual membership because you want to help a chapter.
Hi, I am Anna Verzilli, dual member of JCI Kalamazoo and JCI Lansing. So I would definitely say that, like Carol just mentioned, the reason why somebody is a dual member is really important. I think that is something we need to definitely consider when bringing people on board, because if you're just joining to be a paper member so that you can help a chapter like up their numbers, that's not going to help the organization anyway. I dualed up with Lansing after developing relationships there and feeling like I wanted to be a part of what was going on in that chapter too. I think one thing that we could consider to kind of fix the problem of how that really impacts our numbers is to look at offering a dual membership option so that you're still counting as one member, but that you can financially support multiple chapters and still be able to be an active member in multiple chapters if that's something that fits into your life. So.
All right. So at this point, we will move to, are there any questions in the room?
All right, Anna and Carol, you both have commitments as the National Awards Chair for JCI USA and COO for JCI Michigan, respectively. Both of these commitments will not end until after January 2022. How do you plan to juggle both commitments if elected?
That's a great question. Thank you. So, as the National Awards Chair, if I'm elected to be the next president of JCI Michigan, I would step down from that position and work with the national executive team to transition a new awards chair to take over. I just don't see that it would be possible to give 100% to the awards program and 100% to JCI Michigan as the president-elect at the same time. And so I would make the decision to support my state as president-elect and then president after the beginning of the year.
As COO, I have really come to learn the importance of my team. And not just the production team, it's the entire board. This board in particular is so good at working together and solving problems behind the scenes and lending a helping hand. That's not even something that I'm concerned about. We have a very good working relationship this year, and pre-planning and making sure we know who's going to take over what will help us. It will certainly be a challenge, but the team we have this year and the team that will be built for next year will figure all of that out. 0% concerned.
All right, and I forgot to check the Zoom before I moved from the past presidents, so somebody can find me the next day I have an opportunity. So our next question will be from past president number 90, Jay Johnson.
Hello, friends. Glad to be with you. Glad to hear the stories of the candidates. My question is aimed towards the international side. In the last 2 years, the international organization has completely changed its brand and identity, going from the organization that provides development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change, and with a focus on the positive change, to the providing development opportunities. The international side is really focused on recruiting young entrepreneurs, has a much more business and personal development focused. Is that something, I guess my question is two parts. Is that something that you see as a value proposition to the overall organizational identity? And second, is that something that you would entertain following along with the international and national side of things?
I have a lot of personal opinions about the national aspects of our organization, and none of them matter. That is a question not for me as a human. That is a question for an entire board. What I know is that Michigan needs to focus on Michigan, and we need to look at what the national and international organizations are doing, and we need to decide as a team if that's where we're going to go, because we are at an adapt or die situation, and we do need to make those decisions. I think that they are all worth looking at and worth discussing, and I do not know if they are worth entertaining until the team were to talk about that. But at the end of the day, we have to maintain a very protective focus on Michigan, because at the end of the day, if our chapters are folding, and then what are we doing? We're going to fold too. And we need to start with our smallest of chapters and ask them what they think about that.
Thank you, Past President Jay, for a great question. So I've definitely been following what's going on internationally, with the focus shifting more towards just the development opportunities, especially taking a look at the international partnership with BNI. In communications with members from JCI around the world over the last year or two, I've definitely noticed that the training opportunities have been more focused on those development opportunities as well, individual development, especially things to help enhance careers. So I think that it would be a smart idea for us in JCI Michigan to kind of take a look at what's going on at the international level with these partnerships, with the partnership with BNI, and see if there's a way that we can leverage that to work for us here, especially as we look at the opportunities to recruit younger and younger members. That individual development piece is becoming more and more attractive. Um, Fewer people are going to college again, or even those going to college aren't necessarily finding that they're getting the development opportunities they were expecting. And so I think we're going to start to see a shift in people looking for organizations like JCI to help them to grow those individual development skills.
Okay, our next question is coming from the Zoom. This is from Ariana King. As president, what additional ideas do you have to ensure that JCI Michigan moves forward with D&I, and how will you help support local chapters in recruiting members who will allow our organization to become more diverse?
The D&I initiatives are something that's really important to me. I've taken some time to start learning more about diversity and inclusion myself through things happening within JCI as well as outside of JCI, and opportunities through my employer. And I think that one of the most important pieces to help support local chapters is to continue to have a diversity, equity, and inclusion chairperson as part of our state board of directors, and to listen to what they're bringing forward about what resources do they need, what external resources can we look to, where are the experts who can help us to really understand, and then to help chapters to kind of figure out what organizations in their community or what are areas in their community where they can go to meet like-minded individuals who are of a more diverse background. It's really important that we work to make sure that our JCI chapters across Michigan are representative of our communities, not just subsections of our communities.
Our DEI task force is one of the things that we are doing very well this year. In 2020, we really finally started to recognize that it's a privilege just to be a JC. It costs money to be here, and I wasn't able to do that in my 20s. And we've really recognized that. We've recognized that our organization was founded by white men, and it was exclusive to men until 1984. This is not an organization that young people are going to look at and think that it is safe for them to join if they are not white men, honestly. And we really started to talk about that and recognize that and realize that we can take baby steps every single day, but until we start taking strides, we are not going to get to where we need to be. Young people demand action, and they demand justice, and they demand an inclusive and hospitable place where everyone is welcome. And we have to work together to create that in every event and in every project and every training and everything that we do. And it is going to take time. Progress is a very long process, and we are doing the things, and we need to start doing them a little faster and a little bigger. And I would fully expect the DEI task force to continue regardless of who is elected president, and allowing that committee to tell us what we need to do and then actually do it.
Okay, our next question will be coming from the room.
Hello, this question is for both candidates. Currently, I'm the membership VP, right? And so one of the things I've realized in my journeys is that oftentimes we focus on these chapters that can vote, right? not so much the smaller chapters. My question is, for both people, after the campaign season's over, after the election's done, what are you planning to do to hold yourselves accountable to being present for all members, regardless of other commitments?
I'm first this time, right? Cool. We have 15 of those chapters right now, and I've been visiting quite a few of these chapters throughout this year and before the pandemic as membership vice president. And the overall theme that I'm hearing from everyone, and this actually does include the larger chapters too, is there is a small group of people in every single chapter who is extremely tired. And they don't have the manpower and the strength to keep doing the things themselves. So that tells me that number one, we should look at the things we're doing and decide which ones are truly important. Number two, we need to start recruiting young potential members to volunteer at our events. This will help alleviate the burnout that our members are feeling. They can sit back and create the events that they've learned how to create and be the leaders while we bring in these potential members to volunteer at them. And that takes away all the manpower off of us. We always say, come on, board members, come to these events. But what everyone should be doing is inviting a friend who is a potential member to come volunteer at the events, because then they are impacted by the mission and therefore they'll join our organization and already be invested. And I think that that is one, focusing on aggressively recruiting those volunteers is one way to alleviate the hardships that recruiting brings. It's one way to lessen the manpower. It's an easy thing that we can do to help everyone. Me traveling to every single event, to pour beer is not going to solve the problem. I want to go to the chapters a month, 2 months before the event and have a planning session and help really do the work that nobody wants to do. I really like spreadsheets now, so if you need help with them, please call me.
I think it's been important for a long time to make sure that regardless of what position I've held in JCI Michigan on the board of directors, whether it was an elected position, an appointed position, voting or non-voting board member, to be focused on the needs of all of our chapters. So that includes the smaller chapters that aren't able to vote. And so reaching out and making connections with those chapters, talking with them about what their needs are, about what they need help with, and continuing to do that. It's something that I've been trying to do through the start here of my campaign and plan to continue through the rest of the campaign season here, not to just wait until after the elections are done, is to make those connections and find out, what are the needs of the chapters, just the same as I would do with any of the larger chapters who are voting eligible.
Okay, our next question will be coming from the Zoom. It's Amarina Crawford. In your opinion, what are the top problem areas within JCI Michigan that you'd like to address if elected as president?
I think one of our top problem areas within JCI Michigan has been the tendency to form cliques within the organization. The term cliques kind of gets a negative connotation, and it's not always a bad thing. But it's definitely awkward to walk into conference and see these different groups of people who are kind of off together and having a good time, but seem kind of closed off and not really open and inclusive. Or to see that in online conversations or within our chapters, where it seems like it's always the same couple people who are doing everything, and it's a little complicated to try to navigate that relationship as to where you can fit in. So I think the biggest way that we can work to resolve this is going to be starting from the leadership down. So making sure that if elected to be state president, that I'm being very conscious of interacting with all the members who are at an event, making sure that I'm open and available and approachable, and encouraging others on the board to be doing the same thing and setting that example. And then to kind of continue that work with chapter presidents, involving the DE&I chair and task force with opportunities for training and education on how to be more inclusive in that piece, I think is going to be extremely important for us in resolving that problem.
We have our fair share of problems. We got some stuff we have to work on. Our team this year has really, and actually every year that I've been on the board, it's been the last 3. We find the problems and we look for the solution and we do the solutions. The number one problem that we have isn't on that list. It's the fact that we have 4% of our members that are aged 21 to 25. That's the biggest problem that we have. We need to reach young people and we need to make sure that they know that we exist and that they don't have to come be friends with 40-year-olds. That we don't want to kick it with you. Like, we want to create positive change with you. And we need to make sure that they know about us before they write us off.
All right, thank you. And then for our last question for the presidential candidates, 97th President Adam Bonarek.
Thank you, IPP Sarah. So my question for the two of you is I want you to give us a reason why we should vote for your opponent.
Just one?
You can give more than one.
Anna is so passionate about this organization. We've all heard her talking about it today. We've heard her talking about it probably since we became JCs, at least half of us in this room, okay? Her knowledge of this organization and our history and everything that makes JCs is unmatched by anyone. I literally used to call Anna JCI Google, okay? I would call her instead of looking things up on the internet. That in itself is an amazing thing when everyone is so suffered from burnout right now and everyone is suffering. Anna, I don't think she gets burnout. I don't think I've ever seen it. She's like the Energizer Bunny. She's like, I'll do that and I'll do that and I'll do that and I'll do it. So that's a great reason to vote for Anna.
Well, thank you, Carol. I definitely think your passion in the organization is also a great reason to vote for you. I saw you join the JCs and be a little skeptical about what did Kimmy just make you do? And then to see that transformation of what this organization has done for you. And now you're the passionate cheerleader who's like, hey, everybody come join and be part of this, is extremely amazing. And so, I just think that your personal success story as a JC is honestly a great reason to vote for you as a presidential candidate.
Thanks, Anna.
All right, well, thank you once again to both of our presidential candidates. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, and I want to thank everyone for attending this year's Meet the Candidates event. I certainly hope you have learned more about our candidates. We will have recorded the speeches from today, and we will be posting the link once it's available. I also want to, on that note, thank the communications and technology team for all the work they put in, and a special thanks to tech wizard Noel, who has done all of the magic things that you've been seeing via the Zoom, and also did not cut my head off when I told him, oh, by the way, I'm changing a whole bunch of stuff, 5 minutes notice. So I'd also like to take a moment to introduce and thank the Elections Committee for 2021. If you are here, if you could please stand. The 87th JCI Michigan State President from JCI Kalamazoo, David Q. Worthams. The 2021 JCI Michigan Legal Counsel from the Ludington JCs, Corey Rickett. From the Frankenmuth JCs, Sean Manriquez. And from JCI Kalamazoo, Heather Cochran. I'd also like to thank President Adam for combining the COB IPP role with the elections chair role. I've enjoyed continuing to move this process forward into our new technological world and feel somewhat still useful in this organization. All chapters have been notified of the number of delegates they have to vote. Chapters who are not in good standing have also been notified of what actions must be taken to be in good status and eligible to have voting delegates. This year's election will be taking place via an electronic voting platform called Election Runner. All chapters who are eligible to vote should have provided a list of voting delegates to the state elections chair, that's me. If a chapter is not in good standing but resolves their issues prior to September 10th, they will be able to vote and upon notification of me and their issues being confirmed as being resolved. A couple scheduling items to note: the electronic polling site is open. It will remain open until 11:30 p.m. on September 10th. On September 11th, the ballots will be tabulated, certified, and announced by the Elections Committee. More information on how that will be done, it will be done via Zoom, but the timing will be coming forward. And then at November's event, which is the local organization training school, second or third quarter awards and inauguration, we will be swearing in the elected candidates. If at any time you should have any questions regarding the elections process, please feel free to reach out to the Elections Committee. And at this point, I'd like to invite 97th President Adam Bonorak to the stage for some final words to end the Meet the Candidates portion of today's program.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm just going to take a couple of moments since we do have an awards program to do too. But first, I want to say congratulations to all of our candidates. Can we give them another round of applause? You know, I have often said that our product as an organization is people. And we see that, I think, in the 4 people that came up here today as candidates. They're putting themselves out there. They're practicing the skills that we help lead them and train them on as part of this organization. Their public speaking skills, their motivational skills, their persuasion skills, how to present themselves to a room, how to prepare a platform. Those are all skills that we as JCI Michigan help to provide our members so that they can put themselves out there as a candidate. And I just can't say enough how important it is and how proud I am of all 4 of you for agreeing to step up and do this, because it is so important. There is a county commissioner in Wayne County. Some of you have met him because, of course, he is a member of JCI. He's a member in Redford. He's been a former state senator, David Kniezek. And he has often said to me that he wishes that every elected official anywhere had been a member of JCI at some point, because the skill set that you learn in this organization prepares you so well to be able to lead an organization and to prepare you for that life of public service. At one point, the statistic is about 10 years old, something like 70% of all elected officials across the United States at one point had been a member of JCI. So this really is a launching pad for each and every one of us to be able to continue to move forward and be that influencer in our community and really truly create change. And so again, thank you to all of you for doing that. I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening, and good luck to all of you. Thank you all very much.
All right, so one last housekeeping note. The Zoom will remain going during this short intermission between Meet the Candidates and the awards program this afternoon. So you don't need to hop off Zoom. We will be muting it because we're going to be moving some stuff around in here, but feel free to chat in the chat on Zoom. Anything else, COO Carol? Huh? We'll be back at 3.